Hey, this is Doug Small, and God has put a couple things on my heart. One is to see a great awakening come to this nation. And great awakenings have always come by prayer, united prayer, passionate prayer, desperate prayer. And great awakenings involve large numbers of people who recenter their lives in the supremacy of Christ. It's not one or the other. Our goal is not a prayer movement. Our goal is to see, in this case, 1 million people saved, but that's not enough. We need 35 million to be saved. I'm wrestling with the soul of the nation in my own heart, in my own prayer time. I'm asking the question, can this nation survive? But the goal is not ultimately to get this nation to survive. As contradictory as that may seem, we want to see a great awakening that recenters the nation and puts it back on a godly foundation. But there's more. This nation, I believe, from the prayer of Robert Hunt going forward when he knelt at Virginia Beach, to consecrate this land to God in the name of the King and to pledge to reach the natives that were here. And with those natives, evangelize the world. That's the ultimate goal. Can we see a great awakening in America that brings in a harvest, but also provides a platform for us to reach at least 1 billion souls around the world? It's a little difficult to explain. It started in Kansas 5 years ago, well, almost 5 years ago, with 3,000 people who represented all 50 states who came together in a cow pasture at the geographic center of the nation to cry out to God, to reconsecrate the nation to God and ask God to come to this nation. The goal was to move that across the whole nation with large outdoor gatherings of people crying out to God. But prayer was never the goal. Great awakening was the goal. And great awakening is always measured by massive numbers of people coming to Jesus Christ. So I've begun to talk about 1 million people coming to Christ in 50 days from Passover to Pentecost. But that's not the goal either. See, we're not trying to wrap the Bible in the American flag. We care about the nation. We want to see a spiritual awakening in the nation. We want to see the life of the nation extended as a godly nation. But the ultimate goal is our obligation to the Great Commission. Why America? Because 521 languages are spoken here. Nowhere else on the face of the earth do you have this kind of diversity. 50 million legal immigrants live here, not counting second and third generation immigrants. These people have ties with every nation on the face of the earth. 21 million fit the profile of an unreached people group. 2 million an unengaged unreached people group. Here's what could happen. If revival, if spiritual awakening came here, it could set off a cosmic explosion, the likes of which we have not seen since Acts 2. And so the goal is to move in every state, creating structures that sustain the function of evangelism and mission with the goal of changing the ethos or the culture of the nation. But that is only a platform. Out of that culture of prayer, out of that culture of mission, we want to see not just 1 million people saved, we want to see 35 million people saved. That would really change the nation. We want to see 1 billion people saved around the world. These are the first steps, the baby steps. So much of our current prayer effort, and there's a lot of prayer going on in America, is focused on issues, on concerns, really the symptoms of a people who no longer live with a life centered in Jesus Christ. To say it differently, the great obstacle we have is the lack of mission in the church that sees people saved. 1 million people would be twice as many as we are seeing saved across all denominational lines in 2 years. But it's still only a third, not quite a third, of the population gain. We're not even keeping up with population growth. Would you join me? I'm trying to wake up the church. You could help me. We could join our voices together. We could wake up this sleeping church. We could wake up this sleeping nation. And perhaps we could be a tiny spark of an awakening. If we could do this, 1 million of us, to see 1 million people, just me seeing one person, you seeing one person come to Christ, it will be the first domino of the 35 that we need to push over. The first 35 of the billion that we need to push over around the world. This is a movement. God is calling us to a movement. He's calling us to a reformation of the church. That is not a church that's about a building or singing or preaching. It's a church that's on a mission, a worshiping community on mission. Would you join me in this missional reformation? Would you be one of 1 million, reaching 1 in 1 million?